And another one bites, and another one bites, another one bites the dust. And another one bites, and another one bites, another one bites the dust. Draymond, man. Third time this year, if I'm not wrong, maybe fourth time. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's the third time he has been ejected. And this one was another out-of-body experience for him. It appears he turns into a werewolf and just pulls out something insane every time. And he does not know that he does that. It feels like he does that out of body, man. And he pulled an insane move, to be fair, right? In an UFC fight, that would have been more than impressive. Like, wow. Gotta tip your head up, man. But in the NBA, more than likely, there is another suspension looming for Draymond Green. I, for one, do not think he genuinely meant to hit him here. But when you look at it, there's no defense of this shit, man. There is just nothing you can defend about it, man. And I feel like this just falls on the Warriors as a whole. On Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, the organization as a whole. They did not hold him accountable most years, really, right? And, you know, back in the day when Draymond used to get technicals and used to be, you know, when 2016 he got, what was it? He got, for Game 5 he could not play, suspended, that's the word I'm looking for. It was more of accumulation of technicals that when you remember what Draymond did back then, it was more about technicals that were hyping up teammates, right? And hyping up himself. And he always made up for them with those plays on the court. He always had a chase down block that he got a technical for. He had a huge play defensively or offensively. And he was screaming and yelling and talking shit and making up for it with those plays while getting technicals most of the time. And as the years went on, his ability has been a little worse and the teams have not been as great. It has just turned into him getting ejected for no reason and not helping the team at all. And that is on everyone, really. I feel like they did not hold him accountable, and it just evolves and evolves and evolves and evolves and evolves into this. And this year you could also argue there's more frustration coming from him because he has been playing well when he's played, and we are still not looking like a championship group. And that can be on your psyche because you heard Draymond talk about all the time that he does not want to, he does, you know, have a tough time not playing for anything, quote unquote. And when we are not playing and looking like a team that can compete for a championship, you could argue that is having a huge impact on Draymond Green. And, you know, what can you do? He has been the second best player on this team, even though today was one of the worst games he's had. Still, he has been the second best player on this team. And you might argue that does not really matter since you're not that good of a team, and you might say we are pretty bad right now, and we are just a bad team, but still, he has improved his three-point shooting. He has been more aggressive offensively. He has been really good defensively still. And that is this. And who knows what the league will give him. Could be another 5-game suspension. Who knows, maybe a 10-game suspension. Maybe he does not get a suspension at all. We just don't know. We'll probably know better today or tomorrow before we play the Clippers. And who knows, man. The league has to determine that, and we'll have to wait for that. And when we look at this game overall against the Phoenix Suns, who still did not have their full big three, no KD, no today, and they had Beal and Booker playing together. It was once again the bench, actually, the bench unit doing the most damage early. It was the lineup of Chris Paul, Podziemski, Kuminga, and Saric with Klay sprinkled in there, but Klay essentially, I'm not going to say he did nothing because he did defend well, but he wasn't as involved in that run, you know, in terms of scoring. And he did defend well, so shout out to Klay at least for that. But Chris Paul finally connected with Kuminga on a alley-oop. The pick and rolls with Saric. Kuminga was able to actually be involved in the offense with Chris Paul and Saric in there. Podziemski was able to do all of the little things that he does, and he can shoot the ball, as we know. And it was great. They played great. Moody was sprinkled in there also, and they were just great. And then inevitably the starters came back in and blew it. And it's a hilarious turn of event. Last year it was the bench not doing anything, and most years in Warriors basketball it was the bench just not being good enough, you know, to hold the leads after KD left. And now it's the complete opposite. The benches are giving us good cushions. They are playing great, and we have the starters just being bad. And, you know, let's talk about all the starters. First, let's talk about Steph. Steph has been okay. He has not been good defensively. He has been kinda too ISO heavy, and he has to carry the most load offensively, which does not help his body at year 35. Which means today was really bad in the second half, shooting wise. But overall, he's been still our best player, right? Klay, up and down. Really bad offensively most of the time, has he been really, when you think about it. And defensively, he's also a disaster, so that's not great. But Klay has been better and has been good overall still to me. But he has really bad spurts offensively and defensively. That's how I would put it. He's been good, but he has bad spurts. And then you have Wiggins, who just looks like a shell of himself. There's no other way to put it. He just looks like a shell of himself. And whatever the reason is, the rib injury from last year's playoffs against the Lakers, the off-the-field stuff, the injury before that, before he missed a lot of the chunk of the last season with those off-the-field stuff. He was playing great to start the season last year, and then he got hurt, and then the off-the-field stuff came, and he quite never could recover from it, it feels like. And today, when he came in the second quarter and turned the ball over like crazy, it made me sad, man. It really made me sad to see Wiggins like this, because I feel like it has to be 50% mental, 50% physical, maybe even more mental for him. And it's just tough to see that, man, with one of your favorite players since he came to the Warriors, and one of the core pieces to the title and everything. It just is a little sad to me, man. Not a little, it's really sad to me, man. It makes me sad. And that's okay, but, it is what it is. And then you have Draymond just being out of control while playing really good. Looney, not as versatile defensively. He's not able to move as well as he did. And that makes his value that much lesser. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm getting at. And the 82-game Loon stuff, where he's playing all the games, might have genuinely hurt him more in the long term, even though we did win a title in that year. Last year it was for sure overblown and overforced and just unnecessary, really. And now he's just not the same this year. And meanwhile, you have the bench pushing the ball, defending well. Did not need to send doubles at Booker nor Beal because they trusted Kuminga on him, while they did not trust Wiggins on Booker. And, Devin Booker was unselfishly making every right play, carving us up, while the bench was out there defending well, running the floor well. Chris Paul was directing things much better and not just, playing with Dario Saric. He was involving everyone. And then you have the starters just not being in sync, not being good on both sides of the floor. And, Kerr finally had enough. He benched him for Kuminga at the end of the, 3 minutes left in the second quarter. And he benched him to start the third quarter. And Kuminga did take his opportunity, in my honest opinion. He defended really well, had 16 and 6. He was really good. And he just needs to play. He needs to take Wiggins his minutes. And hopefully this is the start for it, as much as it pains me to say it, really. Hopefully this is the start for it, and we can look on the bright side of Kuminga finally being able to get the opportunity he deserves to develop even more. And the other benching was Looney. Looney played just 11 minutes. And we even saw Trayce Jackson-Davis get some play time in the fourth quarter. And not looking bad at all. And I like that they gave him minutes. Looney has just not been good enough to deserve those minutes. So why not give it to a young guy you drafted? And at this point, why not just try to develop them at least more? And no doubt, Saric has been good offensively as a backup center, but he should play in less spurts and play the four more, in my opinion, still, as he gives it up on the defensive end a lot. And for Looney, surprise, surprise, it was Brandon Podziemski to go to the starting lineup. Such a shame he's not a 6'6" guy, at least, because that would give him so much more edge defensively, because he does all the right things, offensively and defensively. He can shoot it, he knows how to put the ball in the basket, he knows when to pass, when to rebound. He does the right things defensively, like I say. He has a knack for the ball, and yet teams can still attack him on the defensive end because he's just too small, unfortunately. And then you had Draymond get ejected early on, as we talked about, and everyone else from the starting lineup shitting the bed, really. Steph had to carry the half-court offense by himself, and he got tired even more at age 35, and he had a really bad second half where he was kind of hunting his shot a little too much in a very winnable game, where Devin Booker was more patient, more rested, and had more opportunities to induce himself on this game in the fourth quarter, where it was still in balance, and him and Steph both came in, and Steph could not make his shots while Devin Booker was making his shots. And I just really hope this is a start of things to come. The starters had good enough time to get their shit together. It's been 23 games, and there has been some flashes, but not enough flashes to continue with this, in my opinion. And we have hindered the development of Moody, Kuminga, and young guys enough. Just give them the chance. It's much more fun to watch these guys make mistakes than the guys that are supposed to be reliable and trustworthy. I want to see Kuminga play with Steph more. I want to see Moody play more. I want to see Potts play 25, 23 minutes. I want to see all these three guys just play 25, 30 minutes a night. Give Trace 10 minutes a night if Looney is playing as bad as he is. And we'll see if the trade market happens, if anything could happen trade-wise. But, you know, Wiggins, Looney, and Klay have to have their minutes adjusted. They all got benched late in this game, even though it was tight. And Klay did play okay to me still, but it's good to send the message that, hey, you need to be better. And Chris Paul was good. Steph, of course, is going to be out there. He's the only guy that should be out there, you know, in these moments. And then you go with who's playing better. Moody, Kuminga, Klay. If Wiggins is playing well, Looney is playing well, Trace if he's playing well, Podziemski, who's always playing well, essentially, because he always does all the little things. And, you know, you finally had Steph and Kuminga go pick and rolls together, and what do you know? It actually looked good, and it, you know, opened up things for Kuminga offensively. And hopefully this performance was the last straw for Steve Kerr to push his buttons to start someone in place of Wiggins and Looney for the time being, because if this was not the performance, I don't know what it is. And, you know, watching the young guys play has at least been more entertaining and fun, even though every game has felt a little the same. Like, the Warriors just kind of look lost in their identity, I feel like, and they need to make those changes. And while this video was more negative than I wanted it to be, watching the game, I was more than happy with with Kerr's decision. And I felt like, hey, Steph just got tired, and that's why we lost this game, really. And they are still a really good team on the other hand, and they have one of the best players in the NBA in Devin Booker. But I liked a lot of what I saw in terms of decision-making from Kerr. Hopefully it continues. And we shall see, man. It's been a rough December for me. And hopefully we get better as we go on, man. And as always, be kind to yourself and to others. I hope, you know, all is well with everyone. Stay safe, be, and love.